Welcome to the final part of my ranking of the Monster Monsters. Today, we'll be ranking the top 20. 20 I find to be the best of the best. Those of you who are fans of the series will know what monsters will be in this part. So it's only a matter of which place I've put them in. If you don't agree with this part, it's completely fine. I personally find these monsters to be my favourite. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Get right into it. Let's rank the final few monsters. Let's begin. Starting off this list, we have Astalos. This thing is absolutely amazing. The electric abilities it has and the design of it all is amazing. It's like an insect dragon. The wings are super cool to look at, and even in Rise, it gave it like this rainbow hue to it, and it's super cool to look at. Attacks are amazing. The green, the black, it's so... this thing, you can't say anything bad about Astalos. Okay, and its theme is one of the best themes I have ever heard in Monster history. Okay, I love Astalos, and I always will, but let's face it, right? Compared to another monster that uses electricity, Astalos isn't the best. But it's still up there in one of the greatest, and has one of the greatest armor sets in my opinion. Especially if you give it the rainbow armor, or the rainbow pigment in the armor coloration thing. I used to find the Velkhana super annoying and super hard to fight, and yes, I still have that kind of like little thing to it, but come on, I mean, let's face it, this thing is beautiful. It's an ice dragon. It's super cool, pun intended, okay? When it comes to ice dragons, Velkhana's pretty much the best of the best in terms of actual using ice and coating itself in ice as like armor and stuff. And its fight can be really tedious, but that's why I love it. It actually has a really good challenge to it, and it's not one of those monsters that just exists. It's a monster that really utilizes its power to, and really shows you who's the boss, and who's like an elder dragon. That makes no sense, but let's go with it. You know what I mean. Amatsu comes in next. This thing's fight in Generations Ultimate was pretty good, okay? It's not the greatest thing in the world to fight. It was getting quite tedious at times. But in Sunbreak, oh my god, this thing got a major increase in in the fight department. This thing utilizes electricity now, which is something it never used to do. Has some of the most greatest attacks of all time, in my opinion. It utilizes the wire bugs to the best of its abilities. And it's one of the coolest looking monsters to even fight. This is literally what Wind Serpent, Ibushi, and Nawa would be combined, but 10 times better than the Allmother was. Oh my god. Amatsu is by far one of my favourite additions to Sunbreak, and it's beautiful. The Gore Magala. Many people believe this thing is the most powerful monsters in history, and let's face it, with its abilities, you can understand why. This thing is literally a plague on land or on legs. Yeah, it's a plague on legs. I said it, okay? But it's a good thing, because this thing could easily wipe out monsters in a second. This thing is absolutely amazing, and its design is awesome. The fact that it doesn't really have like eyes, well, it does have eyes, but it doesn't look like it has eyes. But the fact that it can even it has these feelers and that cloak of wings, and it has arms on the wings, and it's it's super cool. I can't help but, like, gush over this thing. It's so freaking awesome. If you were to ask what kind of creatures would be in the Monster Hunter universe, if I said to you an octopus slash cuttlefish, would you believe me? You probably wouldn't, would you? Well, you probably would. You never know. But Makakos is one of my favorite looking monsters. The design, like the enraged state it gets when the whole room lights up into like this bluish sort of kind of scene around it, and the beam it shoots out from its mouth when it's like in its arranged state. Oh, it's so cool. Makakos is also one of the coolest looking monsters in general, and it's one of the more unique designs. Let's be honest. The Xeno'jiiva is what I was announcing to the last episode of Safi'jiiva. The monster, this is the baby version of Safi'jiiva, and you can understand what I mean when I say it's alien-like. This thing does not look like it would grow up into a Safi'jiiva, would you? Or would it? But it does, and that's why I find Safi'jiiva disappointing, because Xeno'jiiva was so cool looking, it was so alien, and they just got rid of that aspect with Safi'jiiva. Xeno'jiiva itself is the coolest design in my opinion, one of my favourites. It's not the best monster in the world, its fight is a bit okay. Other than that, this thing has freaking cool ass design, especially when it's like the flowy, like almost like veils around its body. It's so cool. I love its design, but its fight is a bit boring to me a little bit. It's not the worst thing, but you know, we get past that. Coming in at number 14, we have the Limb Reaper himself, Gos'harag. This thing is absolutely insane. The fact that it uses like an icy blade when it's enraged is super cool. At first, the fight starts off with it being like a typical, like, a bear, like Azuros or the Gombi, right? And you're thinking, oh, okay, this is just the same as them. No, it's not. It's so much better than any of them. Gos'harag is one of the best monsters coming, like, out of Rise. And it's one of my favourite looking designs of any monster. So fearsome. It looks like an Oni of sorts, but mixed with a bear. I love the fact... I can't get over the fact that it has an icy blade. It even has, like, a club in the other hand. In some cases. Even dual-wield ice blades. The Atel-Ka is one of my favourite final bosses of any game. In itself, as an insect, it looks pretty cool. It has like this Egyptian style, right? And it utilises like this golden string to use like different weapons, such as a girder or a massive wheel. Or, it has a giant mech. A robot dragon, if you will. Which is super cool, can I just say. The Atel-Ka utilizes some of the best things that I love, and it makes it into something that's super cool. Not everyone's gonna love Atel-Ka, of course not, but it's the best insect monster we have. And even though I have a fear of insects, I love this thing. Not far from its darker, more edgy counterpart is Shagaru Magala. I can't really say its name right. Shagaru. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm gonna just go with Shagaru. Shagaru Magala is the Gore Magala, but molted out of its like this edgy shell to become like this massive, not massive, but like this glowing star of death. This thing is absolutely amazing. When you fight it, it is one of the best fights in 4 Ultimate, or in 4. I love Shagaru Magala in Rise because it got such a good glow up. Literally a glow up. It's a massive beam as well, and I love massive beams of dark energy. So cool. I love Malzeno. I love its vampiric design. I love the fact that it's even based off a vampire, using the blood, like, kind of leech things that flows around it to even power itself up. I love the fact that it even sucks the blood from you in one of its attacks. That is super cool. And it uses, like, blood like energy. It's so cool. I love its design as well. It has, like, this very, very, like, Dracula-esque sort of design. This is literally what it's based off of. It's based off of Dracula. And it's utilized in such a cool way. The fact that it even kills a Rathalos in its, like, opening, like, thing is really intimidating as well, because, like, Rathalos is no joke. Obviously, compared to Elder Dragons, it's kind of a joke. But even then, you kind of think to yourself, shit, this thing means business. Lunagaron is the best of the 3. Compared to Garangome and Malzeno, Lunagaron in itself is my favourite. Maybe it's just the fact that I love wolves, and I love, like, wolves that have, like, unique abilities. Lunagaron uses, like, its icy ability to coat itself in art. Like, it gives itself, like, a big massive buff. Give its, like, self ice claws. Has, like, an icy kind of, like, spike along its back. Tail puffs up, it stands on its back 2 legs, and it basically turns into this werewolf sort of thing. That's what it is, a werewolf, and I love it. It's not my favourite wolf though. I'll be getting into him very soon, okay? But Lunagaron tops the top 10. Gogmazios needs to return in the new games. Okay, much like Dire Morales, Gogmazios has not been seen since the 4th generation. It's really disappointing to hear that, because Gogmazios is amazing. It's one of my favourite monsters, considering the fact that it's based off, like, this dragon that has, like, tar over its body, and it heats up the tar to make explosions. It even has a Dragonator in its back. This thing's awesome. And the fact that it even, like, creates, like, its wings out of, like, tar near the end of the fight, or halfway through the fight, to give itself flight capabilities, super cool. Utilizes its abilities so well, and I love this thing's design. Can't say anything bad about it, it's so cool. I think many can agree that the Brachydios was one of the best monsters that came out on the 3rd generation. And you would be right to say that, because Brachydios is absolutely amazing. Being able to punch the ground and cause explosions just with the slime on its fists is amazing. Its color scheme is also a beautiful mix of, like, this obsidian blue or, like, purple going into, like, the lime green slime on its arms and the horn. It is absolutely amazing. The only thing I will say that puts me down on this monster, and that's why it's not any higher up, is because of the music. People love the theme of Brachydios, and I am okay with it. It's not my favourite theme, but besides all that, that's a very small nitpick. Other than that, it's an absolutely perfect monster in my opinion. Meeting what is, in my opinion, the absolute best Black Dragon in Monster history. the Alatreon has access to all 5 main elements: fire, water, electricity, ice, and dragon. The Alatreon has no weakness. Well, it does. That's its horns. But don't break them. The Alatreon is absolutely godlike in its power. The Alatreon has no held punches. It pulls everything out on you. And with its main signature, like, ultimate attack that it uses, especially, like, in Iceborne, that move shreds hunters down. People can say, oh, it's just like Lunastra's, but this time it makes sense, because it's Alatreon, not Lunastra. Dalamadur is the biggest monster in Monster Hunter history. If we're talking about the main series games, that is. Dalamadur is absolutely colossal. It absolutely, like, it makes Zorah Magdaros look miniature in scale compared to this thing. The Dalamadur is a snake-like monster, and it's an elf dragon as well. You know this thing's gonna be powerful, and it is. This thing does not hold back any punches, and it is one of the best fights in my opinion. Being able to scale up this slimy, slithering creature whilst it's up on the spire, allowing you to attack certain points on the body, is insanely cool. I also love the Dalamadur's just blue flame that it produces from its mouth. I didn't think this thing would have anything elemental to it. I just thought it would be like brute strength, but no, this thing is absolutely colossal and elementally powerful. Eukanlos at one point used to be one of my favourite monsters of all time. Many people don't really like Eukanlos or Akantor in that fact, but I actually love both these monsters, and Eukanlos is 10 times better than Akantor in my opinion. The giant shovel chin is just one of the funniest things about this creature. Okay, being able to utilise it as well in the fight is amazing in itself. But this thing's theme, so good. That piano in the background, just knows you're going to be up against something absolutely insane. Though it was contested to be my favourite monster between another monster that I'll be talking about next. But 3 other monsters in this entire series rose up and said, hey, we're going to take the spot. So unfortunately, Eukanlos has to be at number 5. I still love this thing. Yep, that's right, I love Zinogre. Okay, many people say that the Zinogre is one of their least favorite monsters, whether it's from the fight itself, the design being a bit too iffy for their liking, or just other things that, you know, come from it. And I'd be like, yeah, that's fine, you can have your opinions, but I love the Zinogre. 1, I love wolves, already a good point on it. 2, electricity is my favourite element in any game. That's already an extra point to it. And if you mix the two, you give it a Super Saiyan-like transformation, right? Where it charges up and goes full power, you have an awesome monster. On top of the music in the background being probably my favourite in the series, this monster, Zinogre, is one of my favourites, okay? You cannot disagree, this monster is super badass in every way possible. For those of you who have never played Sunbreak, I'm here to warn you now that this will be a spoiler, okay? But Geismar Gorm is an awesome fight, and it's one of the best monsters to come out of Monster Hunter in recent times, okay? Come on, a final boss this colossal, with the amount of power it produced, using the blood-like kind of abilities it has. Oh yeah, did I say this fight had 3 phases to it? The first phase is very simple. You just, break off the crystals on his body, and then you have it suck it up, and it'll cause major damage. Then it'll fall down deeper into the canyon, where it will unleash ungodly hell on you. This thing's power-up is one of the coolest power-ups in all of Monster Hunter history. The blood flowing off of its arms and back like these kind of like feathered wings sort of thing. And then they heat up into these flames on its body, and it is so cool. I could ramble on how much I love Geismar Gorm, but I can't, unfortunately, which sucks for me. But hey, you know how much I love this thing now, and I stand by that. If anyone disagrees, I will argue. Actually, I probably won't argue against it. If we're taking a monster that's simplistic yet so effective in its design, Teostra takes the cake. I'm sorry, but this thing looks like a king. This thing deserves to be in the top 10. If it weren't for the fact that Teostra is a very weak Elder Dragon compared to the others, come on, let's face it, it's not the weakest out of all of them, but let's be honest, Teostra is probably the best looking out of most of them. Apart from one, but we'll get into him. Teostra, right, has my favourite, like, attack, the Supernova. His Supernova attack is absolutely amazing, and yeah, it's simple in itself, but come on, how can you not love Teostra in itself? Its theme is also one of my favourites out of any monster. A lion-like dragon is absolutely insane and so effective. Valstrax is my favourite monster in the entire Monster Hunter franchise, and with good reason as well. This thing looks awesome. The silvery scales on top of the blood red kind of like dragon energy coming out from the jet vents from its wings. Oh yeah, did I not mention that this thing was based off of a jet engine? This thing is the coolest concept for a monster I've ever seen. It uses wings like these kind of weapons and claws and like spears and swords that it swings around at you. The dragon energy it uses to propel at you. And even that beam and rise when you fight Crimson Glow Valstrax. It's amazing. I love Valstrax with a passion. And I can't help but like disagree when someone says Valstrax is a bad monster. Okay, I will say everyone's inclined to their opinions, but Valstrax, if someone talks about my boy like this, I will throw hands. I'm joking, I won't. But, get my point. Valstrax is the best, well not the best, it's my favourite monster. I will never let that down. Unless something comes that's a lot better than it. Because Wilds can produce something pretty good. We'll have to wait and see. And there you have it, folks. That concludes the final part of this 6-part series. I hope you have enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun making this these videos. A lot of fun just seeing the response from people and seeing how well they've been doing. For a channel as small as mine, this is a very, very successful series in my opinion. And I hope to make more in the future. Maybe not like this, but maybe some other form of content like this. Maybe not even more Monster stuff. Maybe it could be Pokemon. Maybe it could be anything. But with that being said, hope you've all enjoyed. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will meet you all in the next video. See you guys then.